Hello, friends. It's been quite a while since you've heard from me, and I apologize for that, but life has thrown some curveballs my way, and I've just not been able to record anything. Um, I'll explain in this video what exactly has been going on in our lives and why I've been away, and tell you where I am in my GLP-1 journey. If you're new here, my name is Diane. I'm 58 years old. I'm postmenopausal, and I have been on a GLP-1 medication, both Mounjaro and Ozempic, for over 3 years. In November, I hit my 3-year mark of being on a GLP-1 medication. I've lost just over 100 pounds during that time. To start, I have to apologize for not being around. Like I mentioned, life has been lifing lately. We've had quite a few things going on over this past several months, and it has taken up a lot of my time and energy and focus. And so I just had to put some things to the side, and one of those was my YouTube channel. So it's probably been a couple of months since you've heard from me. It's been difficult these past maybe 6 months or so, and I will explain why. And I'm very sorry for not being around. I've tried to be around in comments and liking other people's videos, but to be honest, I haven't even been watching a ton of those because I've been so busy. So I'm sorry, but I am here now, and going forward, I'm not sure how often I'm going to post because I'm still dealing with some stuff, but I will try to be more present, and especially not only on my channel, but visiting all of your channels and sharing my experiences. So with that, let's get into it. Okay, the past 6 months have been challenging. There's no other way to put it. I think in one of my previous videos I talked about my car. My car's still running, barely, but it's running. I was hoping to buy a newer car by this point, but again, life got in the way, and you'll hear why momentarily. And so I'm nursing this sucker for as long as it'll run. And the money we had put aside for the car had to go to other things. So I'm still dealing with that. I believe in one of my videos in the summertime, I showed you my cat Cookie. I'll post a picture of Cookie. She has been sick for quite a while, and over the summer we'd taken her into the vet. They ran tests. We thought she was eating voraciously, like unbelievable amounts of food, and she was losing weight despite all of the food that she was taking in. So we took her to the vet. The vet thought, and we thought, that she had hyperthyroidism. She didn't. A lot of her blood values for liver and pancreas and kidneys were all over the place, and she was a mess. We got her on some medications. She was doing better. She even gained a little bit of weight back. But in October, we noticed that she was starting to lose again. So in early November, we took her back to the vet, and because she was losing weight and her breathing was weird. So the vet took some x-rays, and if you've ever had x-rays done of your lungs, they're supposed to be dark. Hers were lit up like a Christmas tree. And so that was indicative of a couple of things, either cancer or possibly asthma. So the vet put her on some steroids, hoping that would help with the breathing. It didn't. So about not even a week, I guess it was 5 days after we took her to the vet, Bob and I had been out. It was a Sunday. We had been out in the morning. We came home, and she was really struggling to breathe. And we monitored her for a little while and made the decision that it was time to humanely euthanize her. She still losing weight. From July to early November, she lost a pound. She was only 6 pounds in July, and she was 5 pounds in October, or early November. The breathing was just, she was struggling so much to breathe. So we made that decision to have her euthanized, which we knew she was sick. We knew she didn't have much time left, but we were hoping to at least get her to Christmas. We didn't even get her to Thanksgiving. So we've had lots of pets over the years. We've euthanized more than our share, unfortunately. So this is something that we've been through. We know what it is. We know how to deal with it. But it's always a difficult decision. And you always second guess yourself. And even though you can see that they're struggling and they're in discomfort, and the big thing for us is quality of life. And we felt like she didn't have quality of life at that point. Cookie adored our dog Coco. Coco didn't reciprocate in the beginning. Coco didn't understand Cookie's attempts to snuggle and cuddle, and so if Cookie would try to cuddle with her, she would run away. Coco would run away. Cookie eventually wore Coco down, and you could find them cuddled up together on the couch or in one of the dog beds, or, so we used to tease that they were best friends. Now, Coco was actually my mom's dog. My mom adopted Coco in 2009 when she was a puppy, and lived with my mom till 2019. My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. She went through chemo and radiation and immunotherapy, and unfortunately my mom passed away in the summer of 2019. I had promised my mom that I would take Coco in. So after my mom passed and I took care of all of my mother's affairs, we came up. My mom was living in Georgia, and so I drove my little Georgia dog up to Long Island, and she lived with us. Now, taking her in, I knew that the day would come when Coco would pass away, and I knew that would be devastating for me. A little background on me. My father passed when I was 15. I am an only child. So it's been me and my mom for all these many years, or 37, 38 years. I have no siblings. It's just been the two of us. And Coco was the kind of last day-to-day connection that I had with my mom. So I knew when Coco would pass, it was going to be emotionally devastating for me. Okay, that is the prelude. 2.5 weeks after Cookie passed, I came home from work, and Coco was acting oddly. She was lethargic. She didn't want to eat. I was able to hand feed her some turkey from Thanksgiving, but she wouldn't eat on her own. She was having trouble standing. Now, Coco had an incident back in May of this year where she was out in the yard and she collapsed. I took her to the vet. She never tolerated going to the vet very well. She was a very high-strung, nervous dog, and she hated the vet. And she didn't do well back in May when we were there. And the doctor, the vet, said that she has a very significant heart murmur. And so basically, it was putting her on palliative care and enjoying whatever time we had left with her. So at the end of in early December, I came home and found Coco. She was not doing well. So I called the vet's office, and unfortunately the vet wasn't in at that point. And we made an appointment for the following morning. And the receptionist, who is an angel, I love her. She is like the best. Nicole, you rock. She suggested this emergency vet. And we had used this one vet that's been around forever. And I have to be honest, I'm not a fan of that particular emergency vet. They're kind of cold. It's actually where we took Cookie, and we explained to them what was going on, and they made us wait. We came in telling them that we had to have this cat euthanized, that she was struggling to breathe, and they made us wait. Anyway, so Nicole at our vet's office said, there's this other emergency vet, they're really great. If Coco has a problem overnight, take her there. So we did. Around 6 o'clock that night, she collapsed again. And so we ran her up to this emergency vet, and they were spectacular. We were 3 steps in the door. The doctor was there. They started triaging her right away. They did an EKG, an ultrasound, monitoring her blood pressure, all of this, all within 2 minutes of us walking in the door. And they couldn't really find anything. Coco had they did tell me about Coco did have the severe heart murmur. She was, I think the scale is 1 to 6 or something, and Coco's was like a 4 to 5, 6 being one of the worst. So they monitored her for a while. They said, we're not really seeing anything to her, she's not in heart failure. She's stable. There's nothing right now that we can do for her. So they released her. They said, if you have a problem overnight, bring her back. So brought her home. And my husband had to carry her in and out, which she would have never tolerated had she been feeling okay. So we got her home. Since I had the appointment for the next morning at the regular vet, I stayed up with her all night. And she had several episodes during the night. And she was getting weaker and weaker. And at one point, she was whimpering, so she was in pain. So the next morning when my husband got up, I didn't sleep that night. When my husband got up, I said to him, I think it's time to let her go. And that was not a decision I made lightly. Again, quality of life. Coco's quality of life had significantly fallen off. She couldn't really stand. She would get up. We had laid out pee pads for her, and she was trying to get up, I think trying to get to the pee pad, and she would collapse and she'd urinate all over herself. That's not quality of life. So we made the decision. So that morning we took her to the vet, or her regular vet. I explained what was going on. They had already gotten the report from the emergency vet. And talking with our vet, who I'm very fond of, she's excellent. She looked me straight in the eye and she said, if this was my dog, I would humanely euthanize it. And I said to her, well, that's the decision we had already made. Sorry, this is really hard. So they got her ready. And my husband and I always make it a point that if we're euthanizing one of our animals, we are with them at the end. They deserve that. So I positioned myself so Coco could see my face. And I try very hard not to cry in front of them. I don't want their last thing that they see is me crying. We were petting her, telling her how much we loved her. And while the vet was getting all the injections ready, I looked at Coco and I said, "You really couldn't live without Cookie, could you? You really guys were best friends." So, in early December, we had Coco euthanized, and I was even more devastated than I thought I would be. Upon her passing, I broke down in the vet's office. I just completely lost it, and I'm usually very good about controlling my emotions in the moment, trying to get through the moment and then breaking down later. I'm good in a crisis. I can hold it together, but once the crisis passes, I fall apart. I fell apart in the vet's office. And we are very lucky with the vets that we have. Two of the vet techs came over and gave me hugs because they knew the situation. One of the receptionists came up and gave me a hug. The receptionist who had told me about the emergency vet wasn't in the office that day, and the next time I saw her, she apologized profusely for not being there that day to support me. We were very fortunate to have such caring and wonderful veterinary care. So, shout out to St. Francis Hospital for Animals. You guys rock. Sorry. Like I said, this is going to be emotional for me. And it's more, for me, it's more than just losing a dog. It churned up all the emotions of when my mom died. So there was multi-layers to this. And I've been an absolute mess. It's now, we're coming up on 4 weeks since she died. And I still find myself, and grief is such a weird thing. It just comes out of the blue. All of a sudden, I'll see something to remind me of her or my mom, and I'll just start losing it. The day after Coco died, I went to work, and I just sat at my desk and just cried all day. And I had to explain to my boss what was going on, because she saw me crying. I just couldn't stop. Every day gets a little bit easier, but it's still hard, as you can tell. And if that wasn't enough going on in our world, a couple of weeks after Coco passes, our cat, Charlie, has a medical issue. He's got megacolon and chronic constipation, and ended up having to take him up to the emergency vet where he spent 48 hours. And then a couple of days later, he had to go for another 12 hours. And the emergency vet, they're the best. They really are. I think they have a franchise. It's called Veg. If you're in New York or New Jersey, I'm not sure where else they have locations. It's Veg ER for pets. Outstanding. Excellent care. You can go visit the animal anytime, 24 hours a day. You call them, and the vet that's in charge of the case gets on the phone with you within like a minute or so. Such a positive experience. Charlie being in the emergency vet for that long cost us several $1,000s. I think with all of the veterinary bills since Cookie, we're pushing 10 grand. So it's been financially a difficult time on top of everything else. Thankfully, Charlie's doing well. But I have to give him medicine. He's on one medication 3 times a day, another medication twice a day, and I have to give him Miralax twice a day. He's on special fiber food, and I have to give him fluids and just to keep him hydrated. So it takes up a lot of time. But the important thing is he's doing well. The funny thing about Charlie is he refuses to eat wet food. Will not touch wet food. He won't even eat churro. So if you have a cat, you give them churro. You know how much they love churro. He doesn't like tuna. He doesn't like churro. He will not eat any wet food. So the only way I've been getting fluids in him by giving him chicken broth. I can put some chicken broth in his dry food because he's on a special fiber food for that. And he'll eat that, thankfully. Because if I put water in it, he won't eat it. I don't know. Cats. Cat's gonna cat. But he's doing well. Then as I was dealing with all of this with Charlie, I have sciatica. I hurt my back. I could barely get around. Plus I've been having hip issues for a long time. And it's really starting to get to the point where I may need to go to the doctor. Although I dread it because I'm just afraid they're going to tell me I need a hip replacement. And I can't really do that right now. I can't take the time off of work. Bob can't take time off of work to take care of me. So I'm trying to push it till I retire, but that's like 7 years down the road. I don't think I'm going to last that long. If I can at least wait till Bob retires, then I can probably swing it. But yeah, so that seems hurting my back has gotten better. My sciatica has gotten better, but my hip, constant pain. And I know if I go to a doctor, they're going to be like, oh, you need to lose weight. And I'll be like, you know what? I lost 100 pounds. It's worse than when it was when I weighed 100 pounds more. So I figure that one out. So as you can tell, things have been stressful, sad, difficult. And I've been fairly all-consumed with taking care of the animals and taking care of my hip and my back and, just doing the normal day-to-day stuff that needs to get done. And that's the reason why I have not put out any videos. YouTube was just not the priority. I had other things that took much higher priority at the time. And this is my admission, I have not been tracking my food. I have not been eating right. For months, I have not been eating right. And I've gained almost 15 pounds, which isn't great. I'm not happy about. And I'm going to be honest, I've been on 12.5 milligrams of Mounjaro since July. And I'm not getting any appetite suppression. The food noise is back. This dose is not working for me. So I see my endocrinologist in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to go to 15. I've been trying to put that off as long as possible, but I've been on a GLP-1 for 3 years. And I know that most people titrate up much more quickly than I have. I was on 10 milligrams for over a year. So it is time. And with the newer medications that are hopefully be coming out soon, of course my insurance will cover them right away, but hopefully I can move to like Referral or something else. But right now the Mounjaro, I just had blood work done. My blood work looks awesome. Everything on that end is great. I'm just not getting the benefits of the appetite suppression and the food noise going away, and none of that. All of that is back. So I'm going to try the 15 and hope that works. And if not, my endocrinologist and I are going to have talk about what my next steps are. what else I can do, because I still have a significant amount of weight to lose. At least 50 pounds, if not probably more. And part of that I know is me, and that I need to clean up my diet. I need to start tracking what I'm eating. I was so overwhelmed with everything else going on in my life, and taking care of my animals that needed special care. Cookie needed constant attention. Now Charlie needs constant attention, and he's going to need that for the rest of his life. So I can't use that as an excuse to continue to eat poorly and not do what I need to do. I need to figure out how to make time for all of that. I have been trying to get, it's hard with the holidays and everything, but I've been trying to rein in my eating, make better choices. I've lost like 3 or 4 pounds, almost 5 pounds of the 15 I gained. I know that the endocrinologist is not going to be happy when I see him in 2 weeks, because I will have gained weight, which will be the first time in 3 years. So, GLP-1 journeys are not linear, unfortunately. There it is. And right now I'm one of these, and I'm hoping to get back down to one of these. And, yeah, so it's been a lot. It's been a lot on my shoulders, and emotionally it's been really, really hard. And I'm really hoping 2026 will be better. At least better than the last 6 months of 2025, because it's been the pits. So if you made it all the way here, thank you for sticking in with me and my sob stories and the sadness. And I know this hasn't been a very uplifting video. Fortunately, life hasn't been terribly uplifting lately. But I'm going to try to get back on track. I'm going to try to start filming more videos. I'm not making any promises whether I'm doing weekly or bi-weekly or whatever. It's just when I have time and I have the inclination. The past few months, I have not had the mental energy to film, to come up with ideas of things to film, the things to talk about. I couldn't do it. My brain was like, no, there's overload. We got too much. Yeah. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for hanging in there. If you're new here, I promise that all my videos are going to be such downers. If you would, give the video a like. Consider subscribing. I would love to have you aboard for the rest of this journey, because I'm not done yet. And, when you get knocked down, you got to come back up. So hopefully, if you subscribe, you'll be around for when I pick myself back up, dust myself off, and get back on track. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I have one more thing I want to say. I do want to give a shout out to Lori from GLP Journey in Review. She has reached out to me several times over the past few months, checking in on me, making sure I'm okay, because I've been quiet. And Lori, thank you so much for checking in. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your support. It means a lot to me that you reached out, and so thank you. I am okay. I know you were worried that I wasn't, but I'm getting there. I'm okay, and thank you for checking in and checking up on me. And we need to do that more for each other, because these are difficult times, and I greatly appreciate you, Lori. So thank you. Anyway, with all of that said, I'm gonna finally end this video, because I've been talking for way too long. And like I said, I don't know when my next video will be, but hopefully soon. And I hope you are all doing well. Please leave down in the comments how you're doing. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday. I hope you have a wonderful new year. And I will see you on the next one. Take care of yourself. and I'll talk to you again soon.
Give a little bit of loving, just a little bit the real.